when we got into the crabbing industry pretty strong, there was another Caroon brother, Cash Caroon from Southport, who was chairman of the Marine Fisheries Commission, who came up with a proposal to limit the number of crab pots to 250 pots per person. And that was, I think, mostly out of concerns between trawlers and crab potters over competing territory and resource. So when that came about, we decided it was time to get active in the marine policy end of it as well.
So did you oppose that proposal or support it?
Certainly did, yeah. Didn't really feel there was a justification for it. It was just something that he took as his own initiative, and we felt as though that there needed to be a broader discussion.
And there was a broader discussion, wasn't
Yes, there was.
Can you talk about how that unfolded?
Yeah, well, the impetus was that this, I guess, proposal that Cash made for the 250 pot limit was very unpopular within the industry. So we organized a meeting to be held in Belhaven. I believe it was in '93. I got all that stuff right here if you should need it. But in which we had Larry Sims come down from the Maryland Watermen's Association, and we had Mike Orbach speak, who was on the commission at that time, and I'd had a lot of discussion with over some of the effort management techniques that were being used around the country. And we had about 500 people that showed up.
We being, did you have an organization at this point?
No, we formed an organization.
Eventually?
Crabbers League of Aware Watermen.
The Crabbers League of Aware Watermen, or NC CLAW.
NC CLAW, that's right.
But that hadn't happened yet at this big meeting?
No, I think this was the organizational kickoff.
Okay.
Is what it was. And it was a good crowd, rowdy as usual, and involved, and that I think people came away energized with the prospect of actually making a difference by at least saying no to the current proposal. So it's, I think it was Fidel that said that you always had to have an enemy to have a revolution. So he had America and we had the Marine Fisheries Commission.
All right. So how did that dovetail, or is that the right word? What did that have to do with the beginnings of the moratorium steering committee, which led to the Fisheries Reform Act?
Well, we took the momentum that we gathered at that meeting, and it was basically Robin Doxey and myself that were pushing all of this forward. Even though we had help from various sources, most of the phone calls and organization came between us. And we decided to have another meeting up in the Manio area and involve the legislature. And Senator Mark Bassnight had been a crabber when he was a kid, and is a great proponent for commercial fishing industry, and was interested in becoming involved in any way that he could to be helpful. So we got together with him, and he listened to the concerns of the fishermen and made a proposal that there be a moratorium on the licenses, which was not necessarily the way we were going, but we felt as though we couldn't turn down any help from somebody as powerful as Mark Bassnight. And so we went along with it, and he initiated that through the legislature, while at the same time adding on other provisions for staff positions within the division, specifically for crab biologists, and some other things to help us along in developing a crab management plan, if you will, or an idea of what to do.
Right.
Because there was a lot of concern at that time that the industry was basically becoming just the one that could afford the most gear was the one that was going to become successful. And there was no limit on the resource at that time that we could tell, but we felt that it was only a matter of time with the people piling into it because of the restrictions in the other fisheries that we would be overwhelmed with effort, and the catch would drop.